Well, Michael, how has the week been? Boosted by a win, a good win at Barnet a week ago, and a week on the training ground. How's it all gone?
Yeah, it's been good. Obviously, it's been the first free week we've had for a while now because of the back-to-back games. So we've enjoyed the extra little bit of opportunity and spell that we've had in terms of build up to Saturday's game. So, overall, good opportunity for some of the players who were carrying a few knocks and niggles to recoup and get themselves ready for the weekend.
Have you noticed a difference in the atmosphere around the training ground after 3 points?
Yeah, I think it's hard not to. Obviously, it took a bit of time coming, the first win, but, we want to build on that if we can. Clearly the signs were coming. We spoke about that in the previous games. And it's obviously something to build on now and move forward and, hopefully get a few more sort of wins under the belt and sort of keep the spirit and almost sort of remind the players of. I think it was just a good reminder for the players on Saturday what it feels like winning games of football. It's not easy at any level, but when you haven't done it for a while and you have a sustained period of time when that doesn't happen, you sometimes forget. So it was great for the players to feel that, and hopefully they'll want more of it.
And a new signing as well, coming through the door earlier in the week. An exciting signing as well, a player well from your time at Charlton, Aneke. How excited are you to get Chuks on board? Yeah,
very excited. I mean, he's a good footballer. He's someone that I've got a lot of respect for. He plays the game in a certain way. He has an impact as a substitute as good as anyone I've ever worked with or seen. If I'm being honest, not just on the opposition, on his own players. There's almost a sense of, I won't say so much relief, but when they see him getting stripped off, there's almost a boost of confidence. It gives everyone a lift, and I think whether we're home and away, he'll have that effect for us and against the opposition, no matter who we're playing. So delighted to sort of bring him in and get him on board. Bit of work to do with him because obviously he hasn't done much since the back end of May, the playoff final with Charlton. So there's a bit of work to do to get him up to speed, but I think once we get him up to speed, he'll be a massive key important player for the club going forward.
Is he a player you'd been targeting for a little while, as someone you were keen to bring in?
Well, it's someone we've been speaking to, but not so much thinking that we'd have the opportunity at first, if I'm being honest. I speak to a lot of players I've worked with, in the past, and stay in touch with a lot of the players, as does Rich, obviously my assistant, and we just, conversations develop and we see what players are up to. And I think, obviously, once that window sort of shut, I think you can be a little bit more sort of forthright with players and go, look, what are your options, where you at, and it just escalated from there very, very quickly, and we're delighted to sort of get him on board.
You've got good options, good competition in those attacking areas now.
Well, we have, yeah, and obviously that's something that we didn't have probably, and I mean that with respect, 3 or 4 weeks ago. So all of a sudden we're a different opposition, we're a different animal. And we're a different problem for teams. Still loads and loads of work to do and nowhere near where I would want us to be. But the reality is we're, 7 games into the season, so there's plenty of improvement. I know that, but I think we are improving bit by bit and getting stronger.
Eli Harrison back available again this weekend. How was his latest experience of international football? I think he played the full game for England under 20s against Italy on Friday night. Yeah,
no, good. He enjoyed it. He really enjoyed the week. Obviously, it's a big thing for these young players, an important thing. From what I heard, he earned the right and opportunity to play. I know there was an injury to Tommy Setford, is it? But I think from what the feedback we've got, he trained really, really well in the week, and they were really happy with him. Obviously, didn't get the result that they wanted, but I spoke to Brian. Brian went to the game, and he was happy with what he's seen. And I think what happens sometimes when they sort of step away from the environment for a few days or so, they come back and they've got a spring in his step, and that's certainly what he looked like when he was with us this week.
And I'm sure the two keepers, Eli Harrison and Will Brook, are going to spur each other on now and drive standards.
Absolutely, yeah. And Will's been a breath of fresh air coming into the football club. I've said it many times now. Having met Will within an hour, there was something about him that I really liked. He was very respectful when he come in, but at the same time, he had a personality to hold himself, with some of the senior players, and he's someone who. Well, he's like a lot of players. A lot of players deserve opportunities and don't get them. People don't give them opportunities, and Will is definitely one of those players. And between him and Eli, over the coming sort of months, they'll be fighting hard to try and keep each other out of the team.
You brought Chuks in then. Are you still keeping an eye on the free agent market? Might there be further additions?
Yeah, I mean, you never take your eye off it. I think for us to bring sort of any more players in, I think one or two players would have to leave. And when I say leave, take the opportunity to go and get games elsewhere on a regular basis. So possibly over the next couple of weeks, there might be one or two players who, just become surplus in terms of numbers, and don't get the regular football that they need or want, and it might be up to us and them and their representatives to try and get them some football. Is
there interest in players?
I think there is a little bit of interest in players, but obviously we've not gone, out of our way too much to advertise too many players. Clearly there's one or two that are not in and around it at the minute that probably need and want football, and we'll continue to try and help them to go and get that.
Yeah, you've spoken about George Nurse in the last few weeks, who hasn't clearly been involved in the last few match day squads. Is there any update on George's situation?
The only update I can give you, there was 3 or 4 clubs interested. For whatever reason, it hasn't panned out yet, but I know that George is still really eager to play. So we'll continue to help between him, his representatives, and the football club. We'll try our hardest to try and get him some football as soon as possible.
How's availability looking for this weekend?
Yeah, no, it's good. It's all right. Yeah, I mean, obviously Anthony Scully's still unavailable, but he had a meeting with a surgeon that was really positive. Basically, doesn't need a surgery at this point, and they're going to step up and try and improve his strength in that groin area, so he could be back a lot quicker than what we thought. And obviously, like I say, Chuks is going to need a little bit of work to get up to speed, but apart from that, we're looking okay.
Is Chuks likely to be involved in the squad tomorrow?
No. But he's not a million miles away from me. It's just the reality is that it'll be very stupid of us to sort of bring him in and also all of a sudden very quickly put him at risk of getting injured and not having him available. So we would just want to make sure that we have him available as much as we possibly can, and in doing that we have to get him in the right shape to do that.
What sort of challenge is Salford likely to represent tomorrow?
A very difficult one. They're in a great vein of form. They were excellent last week against Tranmere. Obviously a side that are sort of evolving, and they just missed out obviously last season. But obviously Carl's very experienced. They've got a good young group of players, got a bit of good experience in there with quality, a lot of dynamic in there, with a couple of the boys in the middle of the park, but especially in their wide areas. And obviously they've got experienced players at the top end of the pitch that we know about. So they will be there or thereabouts. I've got absolutely no doubts about that, and it'll be a good indication tomorrow of where we are in terms of sort of quality, and because I think there's sort of 3 or 4 clubs in the league this year that have been close previously, and seem to be there again this year, which obviously makes it difficult for the other sides. But again, it's an opportunity for us to sort of get a little bit of reward for the work that we put in the last few weeks. We got the win on Saturday last week, and it's an opportunity to get a bit of momentum and do it again.
Yeah, momentum is such a key thing, isn't it, in football? You've taken 4 points from the last couple of games. Goes like saying you're keen to keep it going and keep moving in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's a long old season. You know, 7, 8, 9 months, whatever it is, and you know, there's a hell of a lot of points to play for. You know, and I'm sure at some point, you know, we'll start collecting a lot of points, and very, very quickly. I hope that period starts now. We'll give ourselves the best opportunity of doing that tomorrow.
As always, thanks for your time and all the best tomorrow. Thanks, Mark.
Cheers, thank you.